Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you live around the world. Carrying directly on from the previous video, I continue to develop the method from which we can create the struts and position the hubs. If we remove the surface, and Chris here, we can see the honeycomb structure that I like utilizing, and it's very, very versatile, or very, very handy for us to create the struts. It gives us the correct angle that the strut needs to be rotated in, and the surface upon which the strut is actually created. The honeycomb generates lines from the center of the dome, the geometric center of the dome, and that way all intersecting lines or joining lines means it creates these surfaces, and why I call it the honeycomb, which I think you can understand quite clearly why I call it that. You can see the hub, the representation, actually it's an early version of it, but while yes, the lines of the structure are above the hub line, when we drop it down until it starts to touch the planes, as I said, the discrepancy it's only about 3 millimeters, and I'm starting to like that design, this orientation of the struts much better. Orientation in as much as how they've been rotated and how flat they are. The more angle difference between one or two struts makes the ability to have a hub in the correct orientation and representing a flush on the top surface configuration gets harder and harder. So at the moment I haven't gone down the exercise of drawing the hubs, but if it's this good on all of the hub positions, it's going to be very, very handy. Now, unhide that, we come along to here and we can see the struts that I've drawn on the honeycomb. Of course, I've joined them all together and makes the quite a good looking framework for our dome. There we go there. Now these are 100 by 50 millimeter timbers, and for a dome of this size I think that would be more than enough for the strength. Many of the domes have got 150 by 50 or larger timbers, and some of them look like they are 200 by 50. I have seen domes where they've used 4-inch timber or 100 mil timber widths as well, but they are really big domes. But for this size, a 6 by 6 meter based dome, I think I'd take a lot of convincing that it wasn't going to be super strong. I made a dome, I can't recall the diameter, but I made it out of 2 by 2 or a 50 by 50 timber, and I could jump around on it till the cows come home, and the thing wasn't moving at all. And the hub design, well, let's just say it was super basic. So now that I've got this and I rotated the struts around, I clad it in polythene, polyethylene, vinyl, whatever you want, so that it's looking quite a tidy little unit. We can progress here certainly, and what I want to be able to do is to have heavier tarpaulin like covers for it, and probably white, so that whatever light can penetrate can illuminate what's inside. I also want to think about rigid cladding, not plywood or polycarbonate, but that's possibly an exercise that I'll have to go down later on. One of the options is just to have everything in what I'm terming the roof, i.e. anything but the four legs, in a heavy tarpaulin type commercial material, and then you can have this part here in the legs in maybe a lattice or slats, because really anything lower than the roof, water is going to get in. Or you have a separate and detachable sides to it, and you could make it a doorway, and therefore keep the entire interior, as much as you're able, waterproof. So I think that's a good position to carry on with. Oh yes, I almost forgot. That's why I actually did this video. Get rid of the perspective. We're back to here, where we're looking down, and you can see how the grid alignment allows for the division of the dome in many different ways. So you could cut this off here and get rid of these struts and part of the dome, and it's dead flush. It could be up against the wall. It could also be cut here. It can be cut in, like in normal, most of the octahedron based domes, it can be in a quarter or half or 3/4. One of the things, I haven't done it just yet, but one of the things that it can be orientated around, which is quite interesting, you can use a smaller dome, but I'll just move it. They can, oops, I'll just undo that. Unhide. I'm hitting buttons and everything's going not according to my plan. Okay, I can move across 6 meters, and the things can actually join dead flush here, and you've got a double dome. So your dome doesn't have to be big, and you can add on to it. Moreover, if I'll just undo that, I'll grab all that, move it across 10 meters. Oops, hitting buttons. It must be time for me to go to bed, I think. An old man needs his sleep. You've got 10 meter move across, and now if we explode this, I'll hide that. Actually, I'm going to explode that as well. Delete. And now what I can do is, I've lost some of the surfaces, so move this across 5 meters. I'll make it 10 meters. No, doesn't want to move. 10 meters. And I'm just going to scale it -1, which gives me a mirror image. And if done well, I can make another structure. All this needs here is a post, and you've got what I think is quite a good looking structure. Now you could say, well, this is a equivalent of what I would call internal gutter. It's just a watershed plane, and if clad well would be impervious to water. That's a private joke. Well, it's not a joke because I have to go into commercial premises and fix leaks quite regularly, and they are notorious for haunting you. Also, thinking along these lines, and we showed it in a previous video where you can make a greenhouse, the triangulation that we can see here with a little bit of fiddling would be able to achieve, and we could make a center section that divides the dome. And in short order, now in fact Paul Robinson has done this on his website, and he's created greenhouses. I've actually watched him, and he's got some videos and some thoughts on that. And so if you're wanting to do go down that line, go over to Paul Robinson and have a look what he's doing. Very good source of information is Mr. Robinson. Okay, so that's me. I'm waffling a bit, and I'm just quite keen to retain the use of the quadra dome approach. I can see these sorts of combinations as being advantageous and more flexible for people that may want to have other plans for their dome. Interesting. Okay, that's it. I'm off. See you later. Bye.